Well, dearly beloved, and of course, Uncle Dan and Uncle Doug, we're gathered here today to bury, I don't know, some fucking guy, probably a guy. Who are we talking about today, Dan?
It's not a guy. In point
Not
of
a guy.
fact, you fucked it up already.
All right, we'll start again. No, who cares?
We're
It's a dead person. Who is it?
we're raiding the graveyard of the gods again. And
Yes.
I have gone Egyptian. We're gonna walk like an Egyptian this time.
Classic.
It's hard to go wrong, right?
No, you can't do it.
Does that song feel racist nowadays? I haven't listened to it in a little while.
Walk like by the Bengals.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fuck if I know. I haven't listened to that in forever.
Let's play it right now for everybody.
You're accusing Susanna Hoffs of being a racist, and I will not stand for it.
I was always a Belinda Carlisle guy.
You always
All
were
right.
a Belinda Carlisle guy, Doug.
Well, while we sort that out, and we'll
What
sort that out.
are we
sort of
talking about?
behind the scenes? I'm gonna ask you guys a question. If you were now, you know that the Egyptian gods and goddesses
Are the
often-
real ones.
they are the real ones. A and B, they are the ones. They usually have like some animal parts and some human parts, and it's kind of a build your own adventure sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I want you guys to design for me. I'm gonna tell you how this goddess was referred to. What she is the goddess of fertility and childbirth.
Boobs.
Okay, that's good.
Sorry.
Strong start.
Just came out.
That actually had nothing to do with what I was saying. Sometimes
Actually,
that just happens with Doug.
That's Doug's ringtone. His phone just rang. That's not actually what he was saying.
Right. So, goddess of fertility and childbirth. Also, a little bit of death. Like, we'll
Yeah.
get to this. But referred to various times as Lady of Heaven, Mistress of the Horizon, she who removes water. Apparently, we have a water theme.
Yes.
Also, Mistress of Pure Water, and Lady of the Birth House. Now, if you were designing that god, what do you think you'd do?
It would probably be a lady cat in a pair of scrubs with tongs for hands and a sparklets bottle on her back. Am I close?
You're right on the money, baby.
Yes.
Can we throw some wings on just for the hell of it?
I like it.
She should,
All right.
she
I
should
like it.
probably fly. She should fly for sure.
Here's what the Egyptians came up with. Basically, and the person we're talking about is Tawaret or something like that. I'm pretty sure I nailed the pronunciation on that. Depicted usually as having the arms and legs of a lion. So there's your cat.
Yep. I
The
knew it.
tail of a crocodile.
Oh god.
The belly and pendulously hanging breasts
Thank
of
you.
a pregnant woman.
Thank you very much.
Yes, there you go, Douglas. And the head of a hippopotamus.
Oh, Lord.
So,
And since she was the goddess of water, she was referred to as Moist Tawaret.
good Lord.
I'm out. Thank you
You're
very much.
fired from the show. You are fired from the show forever for that
This is she might also be the god of spare parts. Like this was what was left when all
Right.
the other gods were made, right?
It
Let's
does
give her
seem-
some boobs and the croc tail and what's this thing? Oh god, a hippo head. All right.
All
Put it
right,
at the
we'll
back
put
of
it
the
on
temple. Nobody will notice.
I watched the movie Annihilation last night, and that sounds like a description of one of the monsters in that movie.
Spoiler.
I think, yeah, right. I think that is one of the monsters in that movie. She eventually eats little, what's her name?
Spoiler. The Canadian Netflix. Do you know what they have on Canadian Netflix at this point? I think we just got Gone with the Wind. I think we got Birth of a Nation.
Birth of a Nation.
So now there's 4 movies on fucking Canadian Netflix.
Hey,
So
they've got
thanks.
the entire Kids in the Hall catalog, so be happy.
Oh, you wish. You wish
I don't
they
know
did.
that that's true. I don't know.
No, they
that.
don't.
It's probably the Strange Brew guys, and that's it. Here's the thing about this. She is a hippopotamus god. Egyptians have, as you can imagine, an interest. They've long had an interesting relationship with the hippopotami.
Yes.
You'll notice that with the legs of the lion, the tail of a crocodile, She represents all of the most dangerous animals that these bastards ever encountered.
Exactly.
Including a
Does
pregnant
she have
woman.
fangs?
Including a pregnant woman, which is the scariest of them all. The hippopotamus is actually the big killer of people,
Yeah.
of all of these animals.
That's
for
right.
those who don't know, still one of the most ferocious people killers in nature. So interesting that she would be that someone who was bringing about the birth of humans would be comprised of animals that were basically death instruments.
I just pulled up the images on Google Image.
You heard the word breasts and couldn't help yourself. I
My
know.
computer exploded. It's worse than it sounds.
Yeah. If you look at it, it's definitely worth looking up. Taweret will get you to some very interesting imagery.
It sounds like when the Sid and Marty Krofft, when they were just petering out of ideas, and they'd done fucking HR Puff and stuff, and Sigmund the Sea Monster, and they're just like, oh, what's left in the fucking puppet shop?
They were
Sew
out
it
of
together.
ideas. Out of ideas, but not out of psychedelics.
Yes,
and this is what happened.
It's alive.
So, male hippopotami in ancient Egypt were basically manifestations of chaos. They were killers, really.
Yeah.
But the ancient Egyptians noticed that the females were really very protective of their young and very into their babies. And therefore, they thought, you know what, this is who we need protecting our young'uns. So,
Yeah. Well, maybe they also thought they were sexy because of
Well-
those big juicy butts. Now, tastes have evolved over time. Remember during the 18th century, Rubenesque women were very in vogue.
Right,
Very,
well-
very plump. So I don't know. I can't speak to the sexual mores of the Egyptians, though sometimes I try. I think that maybe that's part. I'm just going to say that's what was up.
I think Rubens himself called his own women hippopotamesque. So there you go.
Having big pendulous breasts was a hippopotamus.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Oh God. So anyway,
Remember when we had female listeners? That was the best.
that was fun. It was
Yeah,
good while it
that's
lasted.
That's over now.
That's over now. Now it's just breast talk with Doug.
Comparing women to hippopotamus.
Our
Well,
is
ratings
what
are
we
about
do.
to shoot through the roof.
that's true. We
Here
should
on
do
the-
tit talk. Will be a spin-off show.
Tit talk here on the Hippo Heretic.
Well, I really did have a whole bunch of other stuff planned to say, but apparently we're not going to get to it. We've run out of time.
No, let's say it. Say it. We have all the time in the world because
Okay.
nobody's listening
Nobody's
anymore.
listening.
Oh God! All right. Well, so here's an interesting thing. A lot of these ancient gods had their own cults.
Yeah.
Where you'd build a temple to this god, and you'd go and you'd meet there and do whatever. Tawaret, what did I call her? Tawaret did not have cults. She was a home god. You practiced, you worshipped her in the comfort and sanctity of your own household. As were all of apparently the hippopotamus goddesses. They're just more. They're more of a home god.
I can totally see the hippopotamus as kind of a symbol of house and home, kind of domesticity, and
Right.
because
You
all
know-
that makes is sense. That's good.
Well,
get it.
it's why you so often see hippopotamuses wearing aprons. It's just part of the thing. She would show up on like ritual daggers and wands made of actual hippopotamus ivory from those
nice.
big old teeth and whatever. So
Yeah.
she was carved onto that, and those would be used presumably during birth ceremonies to sort of bless the birth and everything.
Oh
because,
God, I thought you were going a different direction with that.
well, no,
Jesus.
they were just waved about, not actually used on the lady.
I thought it was like a shoehorn. You just kind of
Well, you never know.
Yeah.
when you're in a tight spot, sometimes you use what you have at hand.
That one
You
lady
improvise.
listener who was like, "I'm going to give him one more shot. Just tune back out."
Right? Yeah, exactly.
And she happened to be a midwife. She's like, nope, this is bullshit.
We're done. She would also show up on some household items like a pitcher where you would put milk in and it would pour out of her breasts, and that would be presumably a way to bless your house. She shows up in some old ancient funerary texts. There's these texts called the pyramid texts. That have spells written out. And in spell 269 in the pyramid text, there is a mention of her of one of her possible avatars. Like, there are a whole bunch of hippopotamus goddesses, and they're often considered to be like the same person with different names or avatars, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But this demonstrates her nurturing role, because the deceased king, for whom this spell was written, it was said that he would suck on her white, dazzling, sweet milk as he ascended to the heavens. Dazzling is always a good. That's a good one to throw in for milk. She also took on the role of a funerary deity. At some point in the history, where she would become, her image was placed in funerary texts, and tombs were decorated with her imagery, which some scholars are thinking means that she was probably helping. She was thought of as guiding you into the birth of your afterlife, kind of thing.
Oh, the afterbirth. Let's call it the afterbirth.
The afterbirth. The
Yes.
life after birth. Yes.
Yeah, I just coined that phrase.
Yeah, nobody's ever used that before, so perfect. I think that's
Must credit at How to Heretic.
registered trademark. So these now, mind you, I may have misspoken earlier, because Tawaret and her fellow hippopotamus goddesses of fertility should not be confused with Amit, which is another hippopotamus composite goddess who was responsible for devouring the unjust before they passed into the afterlife.
It's a common mistake. And it's a common mistake, and you can be forgiven. But really, people try to up your hippopotamus game.
Keep it straight, folks. She's featured on some versions of the myth. So there was the very big myth of the Eye of Ra, which I'm not going to go into the whole thing of, but this is in various mythological things, but she apparently, upon the Eye of Ra's eventual return to Egypt, Ray's eventual return from Egypt, she assumes the form of a hippopotamus. Presumably, she's Tawaret now, and begins flooding the Nile, which demonstrates Tawaret's primary function as fertility goddess. And
she floods the Nile with her dazzling milk.
Her titties of the Nile. There you go. It's a goddess who she's all about birth and
crocodile tails,
and snips and snails and crocodile tails. That's what birth goddesses are made of.
Yeah, it's a fucked up zoo over in the old Egypt, isn't it? Like, just
it's delightful,
hot mess of weird shit, but also wonderful.
Yeah,
and for that we salute this culture long gone.
Yeah, and
hail Tawaret to root.
Hail taro root.
Taro root.
I smell toast.
We'll let's dig a hole and put her back in the graveyard.
I smell hippo milk. Let's move on.